Guys, Britney's book is out, and we've got some stuff to talk about.
Hey up everyone, it's me, Steph the Alternate, your nerdy alternative, and yes, the Beast is back, my studio is back, and guess who also is here at the moment? Of course, our erstwhile leader, Andy Signor. How are you doing today?
Good, we just got the book. I know you got the book last night. You're ahead of me. I'm about halfway through the book, but I thought we got to start reporting on this book. The Woman in Me, Britney Spears, is out. We are going to have a live later today. I hope to be finished. And we're going to do sort of the top 10 revelations live later today on the channel. So if you haven't already, hit the subscribe. It is a quick read, I will admit, which has its pros and cons, and we'll talk about it. But I think, Steph, you pointed out, and I got to this part already, the biggest part I want to sort of visit is the termination of Justin and Britney's baby. She goes into more detail about it. I believe her. It's as you called it too. It's a harrowing read. I thought we should share more of it in detail here as sort of our first update on the book. We're going to get into more details about the book overall, but I know a lot of you are still reading as well, so giving you some more time to catch up and then join our book review later today at our live. But Steph, would you agree that the details in reading it from Britney's point of view of that experience with Justin was pretty troubling, no?
Yeah, it was really, really harrowing. It was one of the, as far as I'm concerned, very rare instances of this book, because I've read the whole lot, where she actually really does go into detail of what happened and how she felt, and it just hit me like a ton of bricks when I was reading it early this morning.
So I figured we could do some story time. Let's read through some of this book. I have the section here. Some of this we've talked about, but they're going to, as Steph says, she gets in a little bit more detail. And so let's discuss what's said, and then we'll discuss our thoughts. At what point when we were dating, I became pregnant with Justin's baby. It was a surprise, but for me, it wasn't a tragedy. I loved Justin so much. I always expected to have family together one day. This would just be much easier than I had anticipated. Much earlier than I anticipated. Besides, what was done was done. But Justin definitely wasn't happy about the pregnancy. He said we weren't ready to have a baby in our lives, that we were way too young. I could understand. I mean, I kind of understood if he didn't want to become a father. I didn't feel like I had much of a choice. I wouldn't want to push him into something he didn't want. Our relationship was too important to me. And so I'm sure people will hate me for this, but I agreed not to have the baby. Pausing for a second, because her love of Justin is something, as I've been reading, she loved Justin. It put her in a comatose state after the breakup, and she really considered Justin to be, it seems, the love of her life. Did you get that vibe too, Steph?
Yeah, I definitely did get that vibe. And I also got the vibe, like, earlier on, that in a way she was also heartbroken during the relationship, because she says that she knew that during the time that they were together that Justin had cheated on her. So
that's important.
Yeah.
Multiple times, mind you. She says with the report, her friends, and she was so sort of still new and so in love that she sort of was like, I'm not going to bring up the fact that he's off secretly with one of the girls from All Saints, and then mentions the other girl that her own dancer revealed. He said, "Oh, I hooked up with her while he was high" or something, to sort of brag about it. It's clear, yes, Justin was also a guilty party. Britney does talk about making out with Wade Robson. We'll talk about that later. I'm holding on to the fact that I just can't, as if I couldn't hate Wade Robson anymore, Steph. My God.
Right?
But we'll come to that. There's a lot of revelations, hence why we'll be reporting this. But back to the story, back to the reading. Abortion was something I never could have imagined choosing for myself. But given the circumstances, that is what we did. Sorry, and apologies, I'm not reading as well, still one eye. I don't know if that was the right decision. If it had been left up to me alone, I never would have done it. And yet Justin was so sure that he didn't want to be a father. So again, all that we've read, in addition with that passage, Steph, when we reported on this before, a lot of JT stands were like, they agreed mutually, it's both their faults, blah, 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 blah. Of course, Britney's saying that. Britney's admitting, yes, I'm an adult too, I made a choice. But it's very clear the way I'm reading this passage, she did not want to. She felt like she didn't have a father, a partner in it, and that obviously makes the choice a lot harder to do. If she had the choice, she's saying very clearly she wouldn't have done this. So to say and imply that Justin wasn't the responsible party here in pushing this would be incorrect, in my opinion. But we all knew let's get to what we didn't know. I don't know if it was the right decision. If it had been left up to me alone, I wouldn't have done it. And yet Justin was so sure he didn't want to be a father. We also decided on something that in retrospect wound up being, in my view, wrong. And that was that I should not go to a doctor or a hospital to have the abortion. It was important that no one find out about the pregnancy or the termination, which meant doing everything at home. We didn't even tell my family. The only person who knew besides Justin and me was Felicia, who was always on hand to help me. I was told it might hurt a little bit, but you'll be fine. On the appointed day, with only Felicia and Justin there, I took the little pills. Soon I started having excruciating cramps. I went into the bathroom and stayed there for hours, lying on the floor, sobbing and screaming. They should have numbed me with something, I thought. I wanted some kind of anesthesia. I wanted to go to the doctor. I was so scared. I lay there wondering if I was going to die. When I tell you it was painful, I can't begin to describe it. The pain was unbelievable. I went down to the ground on my knees, holding the toilet for a long time. I couldn't move. To this day, it's one of the most agonizing things I have ever experienced in my life. Still, they didn't take me to the hospital. Justin came into the bathroom and lay on the floor with me. At some point, he thought maybe music would help. So he got his guitar and he lay there with me, strumming it.
Like, that's just ridiculous. Like, she's there screaming, she's on the floor, she's crying, she's in an immense amount of pain. And Justin thought, do you know what? The best idea in the whole wide world to help you, Britney? I'm going to bring in my guitar and I'm going to start strumming it.
Can you imagine it? Cry me a river.
Oh, my goodness. I think I would have killed him.
Which he was working on at that time too. It sounds like,
yeah,
the timeline of things. What's unclear in the timeline is how far along she was. Granted, it sounds like this must have been very early on. I'm assuming, the after pills, etc.
Yes,
is what I'm assuming based on this. But still, it doesn't make it any less painful. Clearly, last passage. I kept crying and sobbing until it was all over. It took hours. I don't remember how it ended, but I do. 20 years later, remember the pain of it and the fear. After that, I was messed up for a while, especially because I still did love Justin so much. It was insane how much I loved him. And for me, it was unfortunate. I should have seen the breakup coming, but I didn't. And then one little thing I'm going to mention just regarding this is later in the book, this termination clearly stayed with her, right, Steph? This was something that really, really bothered her. And then later on in the chapter, she says, because the point is, I was so sensitive, I was so young, I was still reeling from the termination and the breakup. I didn't handle things well. Justin framed our time together with me as the bad guy, and I believed it. So ever since then, I felt like I'm under a sort of curse. And yet also I started to hope that if it were true, if I had so much bad karma, it might be up to me as an adult, as a woman, to reverse my luck, to bring good fortune for me. I wanted to show that last bit because this is clearly something that's been haunting her for a while and staying with her of why did I do it? There's clear regret in this. And to know that such a serious thing happened with the two of them while they were both fooling around, let's call it what it is. Clearly, come on, Justin, own it. You were clearly out there, with others as well. They're young, it happens. But Justin uses all this to paint himself as the hero and shames Britney and Diane Sawyer, everybody else just piles on. And it's just one of many harrowing sections we've gotten to in this book so far that I wanted to give you the specifics of. But Steph, yeah, I mean, now in reading that, again, you make a good point. This is one point where she does get into more detail, and it's just the thoughts of her on the floor, on the toilet, and all the pain and the hours, Justin coming in to strum his guitar. It all just reads so painful. Of course, this is one of so much trauma that Britney has been through that would stick with you, that could haunt you for a lifetime. And Justin's out there, doing good press, playing, and still to this day, trying to play like, I did nothing wrong, yada, 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 blah, 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 blah. Man, this dude sucks. What do you think?
If I told you what I'd think, this video would be demonetized. when it comes to Justin at the moment. My goodness. But yeah, do stay tuned for later on today on Pop Culture Justice Live, because we will be going through more of Britney Spears' The Woman in Me book, going through many more of the bombshells that are in there. In the meantime, if you like this video, and of course you want more, the next thing you need to do is subscribe to Popcorn Planet, turn the notification bell to all, like this video, and comment down below what do you think to this harrowing story. And go one step further and join today. Become a Popcorn Planeteer for as little as $5.99 a month and get exclusive content from the man himself, Andy Signor. With that being said, thank you so much for tuning in to today's video. Really appreciate all your faces. And here's some videos right now on screen that you'll want to clickety-click, clickety-click.
Click.